Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Faye, I am the Chronic Crafter and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Today I wanted to do some scrapbooking using the Snow Day Scrapbooking Workshop kit. This fantastic kit is now on the Stampin' Up last chance list with a discount of 50%. That means that you can get this kit today for £12 down from £24. When this kit and this suite was originally released, I was absolutely taken in by it. I purchased a pack of the papers and I purchased the stamp set to go with. When I saw the scrapbooking workshop kit had been reduced, I was super excited to get started. And the reason that I really like these is they come with step-by-step instructions. So if you're a beginner scrapbooker, or perhaps not as confident with scrapbooking, then they're a great way to get started. They also come with most things that you need. So all I'm going to need to add to this is some adhesive. They come in a really nice, quite sturdy plastic folder to store it all in. And this has got a really nice closure along the top. Now I haven't opened this yet myself, so this is quite exciting, and I'm going to show you what's inside. So to start with, we have our instruction sheet. This is nice glossy A4 size paper and will take us through step by step what we need to do to make each of the layouts. There's 3 layouts that you can make with this kit. All 3 of them are 2-page layouts, so you're getting 6 pages in total. You can add things like ink pads. You can use there is the option to add some ink blending with blending brushes in this kit. I am not going to use that because I just want to show you what you can achieve when you just have the kit for £12. So you've got your instruction sheets. You've then got your absolutely gorgeous papers. I mean, I love these so much. They're just absolutely gorgeous, and I do have some left over from the paper pack I bought. But if you didn't buy the paper pack and you were thinking, gosh, this is really nice, then I would say, you know what, get the Scrapbooking Workshop kit, because you don't actually have to use it for scrapbooking. You could, look at that, beautiful candy cane stripe. You could use these papers for card making if you wanted to, and get extra elements. So we've got a nice, that sort of, they're not quite dots. Yeah, they're not dots, they're sort of crosses. And then that's plain on that side. So you're probably wondering why I've posted this video in July. Bit of a strange time to be doing Christmas scrapbooking, right? Well, there's a thing in the crafting world called Christmas in July, which I absolutely love, because it gives you a chance to have a bit of fun. There's low pressure, you're not rushing to get cards made to hand out to relatives or get in the post next week. And it's a really nice opportunity to get started and get organised. So this is the first video that I'm doing for what I'm going to call my Christmas in July series. So with the Scrapbooking Workshop kit, we've got a beautiful sheet of stickers there. We've now got some nice and thick, actually, plain white paper. Looks like there is 5 sheets of that. We've got some pool party 2-tone cardstock, which I absolutely love, the 2-tone cardstock, and there's 2 sheets of that included in the kit. And the other thing that I love about these kits is that they come with photo placeholders. So if you're a bit like me and don't necessarily have your photos to hand, haven't got organised, then these are fabulous, because you can put them down exactly where the photo's going, and then once you've got the photos, you just put them on. So the Christmas period can be quite busy. I know for me it certainly is. And that is one of the reasons why when I saw this kit, I knew that I had to have it, because whenever it gets to Christmas, I never do my scrapbooking. I've tried all sorts of scrapbooking challenges at Christmas, and I never manage to do what I set out to do. So I am hoping that by creating my Christmas scrapbook pages in July with the photo placeholders, when it comes around to Christmas and I'm making those wonderful memories, all I have to do is take the photos, print the photos and stick them on. So that was one of the massive appeals to me of the Scrapbooking Workshop kits. So I think I'll just go for the first layout. Layout number 1. And it's quite thick, this booklet. There really are step-by-step instructions, and you will see that there are cutting guides. There's also nice step-by-step telling you how to get started and to make sure you're checking the cut orientation. It is worth noting you will need a guillotine or a paper trimmer for this to get nice straight cuts. If you don't have one of those, I really would recommend them. But if you don't have one, get a pencil and a ruler, draw a light line on the back and cut as straight as you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at this first layout, and I'm going to pick out the pieces that I need for this. Just so I can clear up my workspace and not have it get too cluttered. I think these papers, they're just absolutely gorgeous. I love them so much. And when I saw this kit in the sale, I was like, well, that's an easy decision. Half price, a kit that I know I love. Well, I'm sure I will love because I love the papers. So I think that is what I need for, oh, I might need a white piece. It's actually really lovely, this 12x12 white cardstock. I'm just going to put my other pieces to the side for now. So, okay, so they included cutting diagrams, which are going to be quite important to follow so that the pieces end up the correct way round. So these are particularly good, I think, compared to if you're scrapbooking on your own, because it's showing you how to get the most out of your 12x12 piece of cardstock. Now, it is worth noting that I think the measurements are in inches. I'm just going to read through and see if I can double check that. Oh, they're in inches. Because scrapbooking is normally done in inches with 12x12 paper, even if you're in the UK and you normally use centimetres. So it looks like the projects encourage you to cut the pieces you need for all the projects at once. So you can see on this first one, this holly leaf and candy cane striped paper, that the pieces are labelled with the number 2 and the number 1. So I'm guessing they're used in projects 1 and 2, which it looks like they are. So you've got your cutting diagrams at the front there. Yep, they are called cutting diagrams. And then you have assembly instructions that tell you how to pull together the kit and which pieces it is you will need. So I think it's really nice that it's calling it 1B, 1A, and that relates to what is in your cutting diagram on the previous page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the pieces that I need for the first project, and then I will pick up this video again. Okay, so welcome back. As you can see, the sun has moved on me a bit, but something I would recommend if you're going to use this kit is to cut out all of the various pieces using the cutting diagrams at once, and then you're ready to craft. It's also worth noting that the cutting diagrams name each piece 1B, 1G, 2C, and I would recommend just writing on the reverse side of your cardstock which project the pieces relate to. So you can see I have done that on all of mine on the back, so that I know which project and where to place it. So I believe I have all of the pieces I require for project 1. So I've just skipped forward to the project pages. It's a really nice thing that the project comes in a bag, because I've been able to put the pieces for project 2 and 3 back into the bag, which is excellent. So, left page, prepare for both pages. Map photos onto 1E, 1F, 1K and 1L. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I don't have any photos yet. So here we go. These are the pieces that I'm matting photos onto, but this is where I'm hoping these will come in handy if I can remember which sizes are going where. So it is also worth noting I have these the wrong way round, so I might still have some pencil marks on these. When I properly adhere them to my project, I will be placing the back sides down. I've just left them label way up to A, help myself, and B, show you what I'm up to. So this is probably quite tricky to see on camera. I'll just see if I can pull it up. Is that the reason for these white mounts is to have a nice border around the image, so that'll look really nice. Those are the photo cards that I'm going to need. We'll pretend that there's photos on there. So next step, adhere 1B to the top of the pool party base page. So I'm just going to look for piece 1B. Here it is. Put those back there, and remember that we're using the flip side of that, because I've written on the back of the pieces that I'm using, and I'm using the pool party two-tone cardstock that came with the kits. It does say in the cutting guide that it does come with the dark and the light, and it is two-tone. To be honest, I think you could choose which side you wanted to use here. I don't think anyone's going to come along and tell you you've used the wrong side. There's no scrapbook police. You can think about what's going to coordinate best with the paper that you're using. Personally, I quite like the fact, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera, but it looks like they've used the darker side, so that there's a little bit of a contrast between the two. I quite like that, so I am going to go ahead and use the darker side. So there are measurements here that tell us exactly where we want to line up our various pieces. A stamp and seal tool is probably going to be best for assembling this, but unfortunately my one has run out, so I will just be using some wet glue. And this first piece is going directly along the top. To be fair, this is going to make minimal difference. I was just deciding which way round I wanted it. So I'm just going to come in with some wet glue now. And there's no need for measurements on this, because we're not sticking this at all down. We're sticking it, so what I mean by down is down the page. We're sticking it right to the top of our page, which does make this nice and easy. It's just a question of getting it on nice and straight. So I'm just going to make sure that's properly adhered down. And now I'm going to want to peel it up, because I have gone So this is one of the reasons I like using wet glue, is that if you do make a mistake, you have an opportunity to come in and fix it before it's fully dried, because I'd gone a bit wonky there. So there we go, that's my top piece, 1B. I did 1A over the seam between 1B and the base page. So that is going to be one of these nice strips. Now, I do just want to say, I managed to make quite a few mistakes while I was cutting these out. And despite that, even though I did have to cut extras, there is some scrap, which is nice. But you know what they say, measure twice, cut once. So where is 1A? Because it's not those, which I thought it would be. 1G. Have I not cut 1A? Okay, I think I might not have cut 1A, because I must admit I cut corners, boom boom, and I only cut out the pieces for one. But that is what I've suggested, that if you were to do this yourself, cut out all your pieces at once and then you're ready to go. Don't end up in this situation. 1A. Here it is. So it's using some of the exclusive paper that comes with the scrapbooking kit, and it's 1A and 1H just there on page 4 that are 2 small strips. So I'm just going to go and cut those out now. There we go, sorry about that. So like I say, I would really recommend cutting all your pieces at once. I think it would make a huge difference to the assembly process. Unfortunately, I chose not to do that, which is why we ended up in this situation. So I have 2 pieces now. So 1A, I did 1A over the seam between 1B and the base page. So that is just going to go there. Again, I'm going to come in with my wet glue because I don't have my Stampin' Seal. And again, even though I knew I was about to use these pieces, I did label them on the back. Oh, sorry about that. Give you a bit of seasickness. They are identical pieces, but still thought labelling them up, good idea. I did 1C to the base page, which I believe is this one. One of these, there we go, 1C. Which is here, and they're suggesting adhering it down about 2 inches down our page. Again, no right or wrong. I am someone who can be quite rough and ready. I'm not going to get a ruler out to measure out 2 inches, because no one will take a ruler to my project once it's complete. I hope that people will just say, oh, isn't that pretty? And I think it's far more important to focus on gluing things or adhering things down as straight as possible, rather than being millimetre perfect. You know, that's not me. I'm very real on this channel and, you know, in my approach to things. So about 2 inches in my world, and it's about the centre of the page. I'm just going to spin it a bit because it doesn't look quite straight. There we go. I am happy with that. I did 1D to 1C. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down now. No professional photography equipment here. It's just me, my phone and my scrapbooking kit. So this is piece 1D and it's going on to 1C, which is this candy cane piece. I think I did cut it a little bit short, but again, you know, this doesn't need to be perfect. No one's going to take a ruler. What I will just do is make sure that I've got an equal amount of shortage on each side, and that should hide it relatively well. So that's going there. I did 1D to 1C, and then a dear 1E and 1F, which I think were these pieces, perhaps. Yes, there we go. 1E and 1F with the 2 photography cards. So it looks like 1E is going about there and 1F is going there. So again, I do want to stick these down as neatly as possible. Stampin' Up does provide some dimensions for you. So for example, it's saying this should be 1 inch from the edge of the paper and this white mat should be 1/2 inch into the candy canes. I am just going to do it by eye. I'm not going to get a ruler out. I put my glue on the back. I know that I'd be sticking a photo to this, but I still wanted to have it on the back to keep it nice and neat. And I'll do the same with the 1F piece. And there's quite a big gap from this side. It's a 1.75 inch gap from the edge this time. This is a square piece. I do want to try and line it up with the bottom and the top of that piece. So it will go about, that's too far. It's too far to the right. It will go about there, straight as I can get it without using a ruler. To put these down, I'm just going to literally place them on top for now. So I know I'm not going to adhere them down because I don't have any low tack adhesive to hand, and I don't want to try and even use a small piece of adhesive because we might run into difficulties with that later. So that is almost done. Last thing to do for this side of the page is to add our stickers. So it looks like we're using a big tree, a small tree, and this explore sticker. I absolutely love stickers that have actually, hold that thought. I've just looked on the example layout and it looks like the stickers are going over the photo slightly, so I'm not going to stick those down there. But what I was saying was I absolutely love sentiment stickers, word stickers, because I just think that can really help guide you as to what images to add. So I think that's our first page, so I'm just going to put that to the side for now. And then I'm going to move on to the second page, which is pretty much following the same format. I used the darker side, so I want to use the darker side again. And step 1 is adhere piece 1G to the pool party base. So this is pretty much the same as our first page. So again, I want to get this as straight as I possibly can, but I know it's probably not going to be perfect. But that is why I like using the wet glue, because it does mean you can move things around slightly. So I'll get this as good as I can. So that's that piece. Ooh, I'm just going to add some glue under there. There we go. Adhere 1H over the seam, which was this piece, the exclusive paper that only comes in the Scrapbooking Workshop kit. So this wouldn't have come with the paper pack. If you've perhaps got that paper pack in your stash, then you won't have this. This paper only comes with the full Scrapbooking Workshop kit. And again, I'm going to get that as even as I can. Adhere 1I to the base page, which I think is this piece. Yes, it is. So identical thus far for the layout. Now obviously because my stamp and seal has run out, I am going through quite a lot of wet glue. So I do need to place an order. I will be placing an order soon because I need some more stamping dimensionals. I need a stamp and seal, a few other bits I need. So I will be placing an order. So if you did want to get this kit for yourself, then please send me a message on Instagram or pop a comment below. The kit is £12, which I think is absolutely fantastic considering you're getting 6 layouts, 6 pages at the end, 3 double page layouts. So I did 1J to 1I, which was this piece here, but the holly side. I love the candy cane stripe. I think if I hadn't drawn on the back, I would be tempted to use the candy cane stripe and go a little bit off-piste. It is worth saying, actually, you don't have to copy this exactly. This is your project. So if you did prefer one side of the paper to the other, then I personally would say you go ahead and use the other side of that paper. So then I did 1K and 1L, which are these pieces here. So it looks like that's going about there and that's going about there. Again, I will put my adhesive on the reverse side, even though a photo is going on top here. So we've got 1K there. It says to place it 1/2 inch into the candy cane paper and stick it about there. Then I've got 1L. Oops. So I've got 1L here, which I want to line up reasonably in line. Oh goodness, that's not straight. There we go. And then I did 1M, and then this will have some journaling on there. So I think I will stick this down and then I will add journaling onto the layout afterwards. So again, I want to line that up as best I can. There we go, and embellish with stickers. So this layout has got the Snow Much Fun sticker, but again, this goes over a photo, so I'm going to hang fire on that one. But we're also using a small tree and a penguin to go over the journaling, so I can do that now, and then I can be relatively certain that my journaling won't take up the space that the stickers are going in. I will have to limit myself. These are really beautiful thick stickers, actually, so they're really, really nice, I think. Again, no one's coming around with a ruler, so I'll just eyeball it, get it as close to perfect. These are the really cute penguins. They are probably the reason that I fell so much in love with this set. I don't want to stick my penguin super far over the tree, so I'll stick him more to the side. And there we go, that is done. I'll just bring the first page back over. So I appreciate this looks quite simple, but actually, you know, once you add photos, you'll be adding a lot of colour into these pages potentially. So there is page 1 and there is page 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these away in the kit bag, and when we get to Christmas time and I've taken all my lovely Christmas photos, all I need to do is take my photos, print my photos to these sizes, printed on these cards, do some journaling, add the last stickers, and it's done. So I haven't got to think about it in January, and this might be the year that I actually get some Christmas scrapbooking done. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will be doing 2 more videos with the other 2 layouts that come in this kit. Apologise for all the interruptions that we've had. But I have had a lot of fun doing this, so I hope you've had fun watching and you feel inspired to have a go yourself at either a Christmas in July project or with this scrapbooking kit. Please drop me a comment down below if you've enjoyed this video, if you want more information. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see the other videos, and please consider giving this video a like. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.